Imagine having a home that can take you almost anywhere, fits into spaces a normal RV could never reach, and gives you the freedom to wake up somewhere completely different whenever you want. That is exactly what makes this tiny Toyota camper so fascinating. From the outside, it may look compact and simple, but step inside and you quickly realize that this little vehicle is designed around one powerful idea: less space does not have to mean less freedom. Built around a Toyota platform, this camper combines everyday driving with the basic comforts of a tiny home. Instead of buying a massive RV, paying for storage, worrying about fuel consumption, and dealing with a huge vehicle on narrow roads, the concept here is dramatically more compact. You get a vehicle that can serve as transportation during the day and transform into a comfortable living space when it is time to camp. The first thing that grabs your attention is the exterior design. Its compact proportions make it look surprisingly easy to maneuver. The short body and relatively small footprint mean it can potentially travel through city streets, mountain roads, small parking areas, and campsites where a large motorhome would struggle. The Toyota Foundation also gives the camper a familiar automotive character rather than making it feel like you are driving a giant recreational vehicle. But the real magic begins when you look inside. Every centimeter has to earn its place in a camper this small. Instead of wasting space on unnecessary features, the interior focuses on practical living. A compact sleeping area can provide a comfortable place to rest after a long day of driving, while carefully arranged storage compartments help keep clothing, cooking equipment, food, and camping supplies organized. The sleeping setup is one of the most important features because the entire purpose of a tiny camper is to create a comfortable home without carrying the size of a traditional house. Depending on the configuration, the interior can use a convertible bed system, allowing the same area to serve multiple purposes during the day. A sleeping platform can become seating space, while foldable components can open up the cabin and make it feel much larger than it actually is. Then there is the kitchen concept. You do not need a massive kitchen to prepare simple meals while traveling. A compact cooking area can include a small countertop, storage cabinets, and space for basic cooking equipment. Add a compact refrigerator or cooler, a water system, and a few smart storage solutions, and suddenly you have the essentials needed for road trip living. And this is where clever design becomes more important than size. In a tiny camper, vertical storage can be extremely valuable. Cabinets above the main living area can hold lightweight equipment, while drawers underneath seating areas can store heavier items. Hidden compartments can make use of spaces that would normally be completely wasted. Even the doors and walls can potentially become storage locations. Another major advantage is the feeling of independence. Imagine driving all day, finding a beautiful location, parking, and having your sleeping space already with you. There is no need to search for an expensive hotel every night. You do not need to build a permanent home in one location. Your bedroom, kitchen, storage, and transportation are combined into one compact package. Of course, tiny living comes with compromises. You cannot expect the interior space of a full-size house from a vehicle this small. Storage has to be carefully managed, and every item you carry needs a purpose. Shower facilities, bathroom space, and large appliances may also require creative solutions or external campsite facilities, depending on the exact build. But that limitation is also part of the appeal. The goal is not to recreate a giant house inside a Toyota. The goal is to remove everything you do not truly need and keep the things that make travel comfortable. And there is another major advantage: flexibility. A camper like this can be useful for weekend adventures, long road trips, remote camping, photography trips, outdoor exploration, or even minimalist full-time living for someone who is comfortable with a smaller lifestyle. Instead of being tied to one address, your surroundings can change whenever you decide to hit the road. The Toyota platform also makes the concept especially interesting for people who want something that feels more practical than a traditional RV. A smaller vehicle can be easier to park, easier to drive, and potentially less intimidating for someone who has never driven a large motorhome. And let's talk about the biggest question: does a tiny camper really make sense instead of a house? For everyone, absolutely not. A traditional house gives you much more space, privacy, storage, and permanent comfort. But if your priority is mobility, adventure, simplicity, and reducing the amount of space you need, this Toyota camper presents a completely different lifestyle. Instead of asking, how big can my home be? The tiny home philosophy asks, how little do I actually need? That is why these compact campers continue to attract so much attention. They represent freedom in a very small package. You could wake up beside a forest one morning, drive toward the mountains in the afternoon, and watch the sunset beside a lake that same evening. Your home does not have to stay in one place. This tiny Toyota camper proves that a home is not always about square footage.